Hi, I personally think that reviewing small indie projects matter a lot. I personally feel if you want to be a good critic or seen as a critic to take seriously, I think you're supposed to review all types of media from different genres and big and smaller titles, especially when you're talking about movies. I gotta say, I absolutely hate when people are just like, critics on YouTube are just like, oh my god, animation is dead, or movie is dead, or like, all this media, blah, 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 something is dead, but then they don't actually take time to search for the smaller creators who are actually doing the creative things, or they don't actually want to promote it because they're just like, oh, you know, I gotta make money every single day. Like, I don't feel they are fans of indie projects or just creativity in general. I personally think it takes a lot of exploring different medias in order to be called a good critic and to support the sort of ecosystem of, you know, movies, analysis, just all of that creation in general. You have to talk about big and small sort of media creations, and I feel like that lacks in the animation space. I'm gonna use an example of Hell of a Boss and Hazbin Hotel, as a lot of people are discussing and critiquing it, rightfully so, to be completely honest. But the thing is that, like, there's a difference between critiquing something and having like the right credentials to critique something, as in like you've seen and criticized a lot of other shows or a lot of other media instead of just this one show. Because if you focus on one show, I personally feel like you are just there for money and you're not really benefiting anybody. A lot of YouTube critics will say they love indie animation, but yet they don't really talk about indie animation unless it's super, super big to where it benefits them as well. And look, I'm completely for like self-sustain and self-love, but I personally, as I grow older, I'm more focused on building up communities, building up creators, and just helping an ecosystem thrive anymore. I don't feel benefiting solely yourself is a good way to critique media in any sort of sense. Indie animation and just indie in general is so important to look at and so important to talk about, to discuss, to critique, which I feel like nobody really does. I feel like a lot of these small creators who have the chance, who have the chance to be big, if only there was somebody to spread their like ideas, spread their projects, spread it. And I know it seems stupid for me to do, but personally, I really would love to take that journey. I really respect creativity and passion and being able to just make something regardless of all the odds you are at. And if I can promote a small creator, I know I'm a small creator myself, but at the end of the day, I'm helping. I feel like it just takes one person to just throw something out there and be like, hey, I want to talk about this media in order to create a just snowball. And that's kind of what I want to do today with this indie project called Runaway. I first learned about this indie project through an email. They are doing an illustrated audio drama, and the whole premise is just running away. I was talking to one of the creators in the show, and they definitely want to get it animated, but animation costs a lot of money and it takes a lot of time. So right now, I'm just going to showcase chapter 2, a little bit of chapter 2 in order to get you a full premise, because the art direction is so nice. The art is absolutely beautiful, and the audio is so immersive. Like, they are doing the most in order to try and get this off the ground, and I just want to help them in any single way I can.
In that case, how about I leave you off with this instead?
Alex!
If you think that I'm gonna let your ass do a repeat of last time, then you're wrong. I'm stronger now, and if you ask anyone about me, they'll tell you firsthand that I don't fucking play around. So consider this a warning.
I was very much inspired to talk about this indie project because the lead creator, I believe, was just chatting with me and said they emailed a lot of big creators, a lot of small creators, a lot of like small critics and like big critics and everything like that. And nobody really got back to them. And you know what? If I gotta be the person to roll the ball, I will absolutely do that.
Like, it's hard enough when like no like YouTubers reply to me even when I am offering money. It's rough because I contacted bigger ones. No one got back to me, so I was like, all right, let me try smaller ones, and not a lot of people got back to me.
What wowed me the most was that they were actually offering money in order to review this media, and still nobody would do it. And I feel that's super selfish. In order to really help indie animation grow, you just need to talk about indie animation, big and small. But anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about Runaway. Runaway is set in a high school. It is sort of like all the characters are like 17 to 18 to 19, I believe, that sort of range. And it sounds sort of bland on paper until she told me that majority of the characters, actually the 4 casts that are here, they are based off of trauma responses. So that would be flight, that would be fawn, that would be that would be freeze, and that would be fight. Like, I am actually so interested in this premise because I would really want to see how you characterize those sort of traits and make it into a personalized character and just really showcase how good you are at writing. I have a lot of belief in this sort of system. There is 2 chapters out right now of the pilot anyway in order to pitch this, and I gotta say I am very impressed, mainly with chapter 2. The visuals are just so astonishing. They're using little stills. They're using visual stills, and I absolutely get it. Animation is very hard, but like with the way they are immersing people with the audio, the sound design is absolutely immaculate. And the way they are reading, it's so immersive. I believe more people need to see this. Chapter 2 is the shortest chapter. It is like 3 or 4 minutes, which definitely seems like a problem in my eyes. I feel like it should be longer, but I definitely get they don't have enough time and resources probably. I believe it's a super small team because the voice talent there is... It seems more like a friend group trying to work together and try to create something. That is where one of my issues sort of lie with this series, because the voice talent it feels like they're going for a more teenage sort of setting. Like, it is set in the 90s personally, and they are in high school, so they're hitting it right on the mark. But like a lot of the line delivery isn't necessarily the strongest per se. Like, a lot of the vocal inflections, they aren't really there.
Stop fucking around and answer the damn question.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't want to force you. Just go. We'll, talk later.
I know this is going to come off sort of like out of context, that I'm pulling these out of context and sort of nitpicking, but I feel there are a lot of portions in this audio that have weird line delivery to where I think they should have redone it personally or just chose a different direction. I also feel like the main antagonist, Rally, is using a little bit too much distortion, and they just need to have a lower voice if they are going to go in that vocal direction. That's just my personal opinion. But to spin back to another positive, the writing in this is just super immersive and super immaculate. It feels more like to a teen audience, like I said before, but I think that's absolutely fine because the market right now is Hell of a Boss, Has Been Hotel, and God knows those are teen. Those are made for teen audiences, not for adults. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way in any sort of sense. I mean, it's more of a mature teen, and instead of like a direction Vibsy Pop or someone, I'm gonna just say Vibsy Pop, Hell of a Boss, the way they're taking it with all the cussing and all the debauchery, everything like that, it doesn't feel like that. It feels very streamlined, very focused, And that also goes for a lot of the plot as well, as far as I'm aware. Because the first chapter is so contained, and it feels like someone who actually understands writing is actually writing this. Personally, I am super interested in seeing what comes next with this series. They said they are releasing another chapter to the pilot in February, which I'm super excited for that, unironically. I would absolutely love for this to be an animated show one day, and just being able to rival some of the greats, or just be in the conversation with some of the greats. Like, this indie project feels so honest and genuine, and I just would love to try and get some support its way. And I know what you may be thinking, like, you're a small channel yourself. How could you possibly help grow this small indie project? And I gotta say, I don't really know. It just takes one person in order to really make a change. One person getting lucky. Like, we are all small channels. We are small individuals. Some of us just have larger rocks to throw. But I just believe if we really try hard enough, it doesn't matter what size of rock you throw. If you just talk and you just care about something, it doesn't matter. You can just get lucky, and you can just help landslide and create a movement, which I really want to do. I really want small indie projects to grow so that we have more shows to talk about and more people have chances in order to show their media. But that's just me. But that's all I have to say. Anyway, how's it going, pups? It's a K9, and I'm
Yes. So there definitely is like an overarching plot, but it's more of like very character driven. So that's basically what it is. Sophia is also important in the series, but that she's more of a side character. The series isn't heavily about her, but she does have her moments in it. You'll see it in like chapter 1. She's not in chapter 2, but she is in chapter 1. She's not even in chapter 3. It's sad, but like,
dang, you ain't using her, dang.